making sure the butter and the sugar goes in the right spot. So we were cooking them. So it was a joy. Just, it's rare. We've used to take things for granted, but with this virus and this challenge, it was just so neat to be able to sit down Friday. We spent about 5 hours, I guess, just hanging out, talking, having a good time. And just, it's so rare that you enjoy those moments when you're able to do them anymore. I'm just so thankful they allowed me to be a part of that. But I'm also more excited about how the outcome that came yesterday, working there with the barn at Kiwanis. I mean, we stayed busy, but I could look right across, and the ladies were just as busy as we were. So that it's a joy to see how people again gathered around our community in fellowship and becoming one and working as God called us. So I'm really excited and pray that maybe that could be a yearly event. I don't know, but I think it would be a great thing to do because it seems like it's group of people, which is wonderful. Today's message comes from Philippians. This message is when Paul is in prison. And he's writing to the Philippians, and he's trying to uplift them and inspire them. Beginning in verse 12, and reads as such. Now I want you to know, brothers and sisters, that what has happened to me has actually served to advance the gospel. As a result, it has become clear throughout the whole palace guard and to everyone else that I am in chains for Christ. And because of my chains, most of the brothers and sisters have become confident in the Lord and dare all the more to proclaim the gospel without fear. It is true that some preach Christ out of envy, in rivalry, but others out of goodness. The latter does not do it out of love. Nothing that is I am put to is unashamed. Defense of the gospel. The former preaches Christ out of selfish ambition, not serious support of the people. That they can stir up trouble is more for more their focus, while I am in chains. But what does it matter? The important thing is that in every way, whether from false motivation or true Christ is preached. And because of this, I rejoice. We wonder sometimes if our labors are important. We wonder sometimes how they affect. And in our world today, we were just talking about all the challenges, all the darkness that we seem to find. But what about those who are serving Christ? How do we affect them? How do we inspire? I think yesterday was a good answer. We all came together for a purpose. We all began to reach out and give of self. Now, in Paul's case, he's come up literally being in jail and unable to come and go. Sometimes I think this COVID was a prison for me. Staying at home was not a joy. Not being able to move, and well, as you guys know, I don't stay in one spot. I like being free to interact. And like I said, Friday was a joy to once again to fellowship with my sisters in Christ, to not only work for a goal, but just to laugh and enjoy and tell how God's working in our lives. We have to chains don't have to really be chains wrapped in our arms, or prison has to be where we walk in and there's bars around us. Sometimes our prison can be here, in our mind, in our hearts. My brothers and sisters, I want you to know Paul was saying to them, listen, and there's some out there who are not saying all the true things, but they're still talking about Christ. They're still talking about Jesus, not requiring others to draw to learn. Well, here we are, preaching the truth, and people are questioning, why do you believe or not believe? But more, what is our goal? To proclaim the gospel, to show the truth of God's love. We have to remove that which separates us from doing it. Paul said, I use my opportunity instead of negatively, positively. Yes, even the prison families are saying, this guy is talking about things that I haven't heard before. They're becoming the evangelists for me because they hear the word from me. You see, the words that text from is in Acts chapter 16. I have to read it for you one day, where he's in bonds, he's locked away, and they're trying to figure out. And one night, the gates open. The jails, guards are shot. What are we going to do? We're going to take our jobs. And because of their faith, because of how Paul had been preaching and teaching, not only to himself, but to the prisoners around, no one left. They stayed there. They said, wasn't I going to get out by my freedom? Wouldn't I escape? Because of that action, the guards were amazed. Now, what kind of people are these? How do they act so different than most people? Because in the world today, if there's an opportunity to do something for free, they're going to what? Gather real fast, aren't they? Instead of stopping and concerned about the next person, I'm going to get it for me. I got to take care of me. Here it is. These guys were more concerned that if we leave, this man and this person may be put to death for something they had nothing to do with. That's not what we believe. We believe in life in Christ. Life with Christ. And that example spilled over in Philippi. He inspired us to listen. I want you to know that the action that took place not only affected me, but now my guards. I'm here in Rome, locked away because of the challenges. But even in the midst of my hard times, in the midst of my bondage, Christ is being preached. In the midst of my lack of freedom, and we're great in America, we all want our freedom. We want to come and go as we can, or when and whenever we want to, but sometimes maybe being bound is the best answer. Being in that situation, God used him not only to win his fellow prisoners, but these Roman soldiers, these Gentiles, these ungodly folks, to the point that they were inspired in the palace. They were like, what is going on? What is so different that we took his rights away? We bound him up. We had him in chains. He only comes and goes when we let him out, and yet he's still winning. How is it that we cannot grasp or remove his faith from this challenge? They say, well, Pastor, what's that got to do with me today? I'm not in bonds. I can get up in my car and go where I want to. Can we really? We have to answer, was it 9 to 5 to our job? Can't miss that. We won't get that paycheck. We can't go without sending our children to school without learning they can achieve. Like I said, the bonds does not have to be changed, but other responsibilities. But while we're there, while we're at school or at work, or rarely at play, arriving combine, plowing away, we still have Christ. We still have an opportunity to present Christ to our co-workers, our classmates, the folks we see at Slucky's for lunch. Wherever we are, Christ is there. My friends, our bond, our commitment is to reach out to God and turn the knowledge and experience that we have into a witness for those who are broken, who are struggling, who have not yet found victory. And I want to tell you, in today's world, this is one of the greatest challenges. We read too many times where people are struggling with depression or despair because they don't know what to do. I was reading the other day, even the quarterback there for the Dallas Cowboys. He was going in the midst of this, it looked like he's successful achieving his goals. And this is a brother who could not cope with life. He himself found himself, he said, I was so depressed. I wanted to stop. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do. Till somebody came needed support. And more than just my teammates and I when I'm on the field, I need someone to talk and walk with me. Friends, we are here for one another. When we talk about how we want to make sure we surround ourselves around Bill, after her hit surgery, surround ourselves around another sister in Christ. But what about the rest of them? And as much as we're giving, let's not be afraid to say, maybe sometimes we're the ones that need a little help. We need, as much as we pour out that love, give to those who are facing challenges, those who are in times of uncomfortable moments of their life. I want us to know that God has made us a body for a purpose, so that we can work with one another. We can gather together, peeling apples, baking them to give, or if it's, in some cases, maybe a pot pie dinner we used to do. Or going down to St. Paul's and reaching out to others and helping them in the moment of need. But that's all wonderful. We can't do it if we're not in alignment and also helping one another here in this place. Let this not be a prison, but a place of freedom, a place of growth, a place where we can move beyond our own circumstances. Because Paul went on later in that scripture, he said this to them. Reading from verse 20. I eagerly expect and hope that I will in no way be ashamed, but will have sufficient courage to that now, so that now, as always, Christ will be exalted in my life, whether by life or by death. For to me is to live is Christ, and to die is gain. That verse has been recorded many times, and what he's saying is, listen, I thrive in serving Christ. I grow in fellowship when I'm with you. Although I'd rather be with Christ, because it's my time to show you how to move beyond those circumstances. Even in the midst of my hardship, I find Christ. I find joy. If I am to go on living in this body, this will mean fruitful labors for me. Labors, he didn't say chilling at the house and laying back in my easy chair watching cable TV. He says labor. Get up and serve and be involved. I grow, I know, I learn. It's what shall I choose to do not, I do not know, he says, but I am torn between the two. I desire to deeper and be with Christ, deeply be with Christ, which is a better by far. But it is more necessary for you that I remain in the body. So that why? So that we can learn and we can grow from one another, we can inspire one another. Convinced of this, I know that I will remain and I will continue with all of you for your progress and joy in the faith, so that through my being with you again, your boasting is in Christ Jesus will abound. What are we here but to strengthen one another, to encourage one another, so that we can go out into the world to inspire those who are lost, those who have not found the same joy, who are struggling to know, how can I overcome? This morning, let our chains, if imaginary or true, let our bonds, free or not, be used not for self, but for example of Christ, the one who not only gave life, but walked the same path in laying down his life for you and I. As we walk into this world today, as we look into the challenges, let's remember we're not alone. We have Christ. We have God. gospel, God shows the victory. This is my key to you today. Use it for your advantage, not your discord. Use it for your uplifting,